Hey traders, Raghee here. I'm going to kick off this recap video with a look at the economic calendar for the week because it is going to dictate darn near everything that we do. So unless you're absolutely clear on when the catalysts for volatility are going to hit the market, you are going to be blindsided, broadsided even, by volatility. And what's worse than that? Is there something worse than risk that you weren't expecting? Well, yeah, it's missing out on opportunities that you could have taken advantage of because of the increase in the volatility. So my first stop every week, every morning, is just to make sure that I am absolutely up to date on whatever the economic calendar is going to bring. And during earnings season, that means another layer of economic activity by way of, as you can see here, I love these little calendars that Earnings Whispers puts out, and it just gives me an idea of what's going to be in play. Now, it's pretty basic here. I mean, there's some, obviously that's going to be a hugie, right? Think about the weighting of specific stocks within the larger equities indexes. That's what we're after because, sure, there's going to be a lot of traders that are really interested in Shopify tomorrow. There certainly will be a lot of interest there. Where else will there be interest? Sure, FireEye, Tesla. I think a lot of people are looking at Fitbit. There'll be a lot of names that are trading names, but not necessarily names that are going to be heavily weighted within the indexes. So this is the big one. And why is that? Because as futures traders, we know it's heavily weighted within the NAS. It's heavily weighted within the SPOOs and even, yes, the Dow. So let's talk a little bit about this last trading day of the month and some of what we could see by way of end of month shenanigans. Where could traders be right now feeling they're a little underweighted? The equities markets. Specifically, I should say, the equities market, specifically the Dow. Not the SPOOs, not the NAS. And if you take a look at the SPOOs and NAS, neither are punching up to higher highs. They're kind of stuck a little bit in a range because I think a lot of the positions in these markets have already been built out. And then at the end of the month, window dressing, yes, it is a thing, is going to carry the Dow higher. But this is good for us. Either you're already long Dow on the last pullback, which would have been aggressive. I was looking for something a little bit more conservative. Now with the higher high and the kind of sentiment we're seeing, the next time we pull back on the Dow, and I will update this on the spreadsheet, gang, we're going to look for a pullback, one of our more aggressive pullbacks. We don't have to be so conservative anymore. And we can move that order up by about 150 points on the spreadsheet. You can take a look at the updated level there in the members area. So the thing that also, again, I want to remember is higher high could lead to a little bit of profit taking. And if that happens, let's think about the one thing that leads to another. As much as I do want to be a buyer here on the Dow, specifically the YM, where else could I see an opportunity? Maybe here for a buy as we follow the trend higher intraday. Yes, but I'm going to be looking for that wave rollover opportunity if the market goes ahead and takes profits on the positions that were built today. So if we're going to see any exhaustion, do not pick a top here on the daily. Please don't. Did I make that emphatic enough? Look for an intraday rollover, the wave rollover, either on the 15, the 30, or the 60-minute time frame. And again, Apple could have a little something to do with that. So yes, during earnings season, us futures traders, everybody, we are stock traders. So keep an eye on Apple. It has the ability to affect all three major indexes. And that's what we're going to have our eye on the next 24, 48 hours. Now, let me also mention a couple other things. Moving past the futures and the earnings story, we have a very busy currency trading week. So if you love the Forex side of things, or if you love the futures, the currency futures side of things, we've got the Aussie in play tomorrow with the RBA. I am looking for this statement to cool the RBA off a little bit, or cool the Aussie off a little bit, and look for an opportunity to buy Aussie US, Aussie Yen. I will update the spreadsheet with those two trades. I'm also looking for the New Zealand dollar to possibly give us an opportunity to buy it with the jobs numbers. 3 big jobs numbers coming out for 3 countries. New Zealand, of course, non-farm payroll in the US, and Canada. We have the jobs numbers in Canada. So the US dollar the Canadian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, the Australian dollar, and not to be left out, let's not forget about the BOE and the pound on Thursday morning. So the thing to remember here is, are we looking for maybe another shift in the bank rate votes? Maybe. Do I want to be long the pound? I do, but a very specific list against the yen and against the US dollar. So we'll talk about all that. So this week is going to be a very active side on the FX or currency side of our life. We have that parked in the currency corner in the Simpler Futures membership. So check that out. I'll have updates for that in front of the Aussie tomorrow and then throughout the week as we deal with a very busy economic calendar.